Today I'm going to read this book called Happy Hoppy Frog. It's about learning about trust. We all need to learn about trust, trusting one another. Written by Becky Freeman and illustrated by Matthew Archambault. Just look at that frog on his shoulder. "Where are you going?" shouted Gabe as he watched his brothers, Zach and Zeke, load up the trunk with sweet-smelling hay. "We're taking Pete and Repeat to the county fair," said Zach. Zeke tipped his cowboy hat at Gabe and teased, "Now, Gabe, I think you'll win that prize." Gabe playfully socked his brother on the arm. Then Zeke wrestled him to the ground. Mostly they just laughed and pretended to be fighting, but roughhousing always made Mom nervous. Within seconds, she appeared at the front door, wiping her hands on a rag. "You boys better knock it off before one of you get hurt." There she is, coming out of the house. The boys rose from the ground, brushing the dirt from their jeans. Zeke looked at Mom and grinned. "Aw, Mom, I was just playing with the little guy." "Yeah, Mom," echoed Gabe. "He was just playing with the little guy." "Never mind, you two," said Mom. "Now come help me carry these peach preserves out to the truck." "Didn't your sister do a beautiful job?" Rachel had been picking, peeling, slicing, boiling, sugaring, and canning peaches for days now. She was determined to win a ribbon at the county fair for her homemade preserves. I bet you she will, too. Just then, Dad's face appeared over the top of the shed roof. With eyes wide, Gabe watched his father walk around in front of the shed. Dad was 10 feet tall, dressed in a red and white striped Uncle Sam's suit. Gabe's mouth dropped open. "Dad," yelled Gabe, "you grew into a giant. What have you been eating?" "It's not what I've been eating, son. It's what I'm walking on. What do you think about these stilts?" Gabe loved having a dad who could do tricks like walking on stilts. There they are, walking. There he is, and there's Gabe. It looked like everyone in the family was doing something special for the fair. Dad would be the world's tallest announcer. Mom had sewn a special quilt. Rachel the canned peaches. Zach and Zeke were showing off Pete and Repeat. And everyone was doing something special except Gabe. What could he do at the fair? Just then, Happy Hoppy, Gabe's pet frog, hopped out of a pocket and onto Gabe's shoulder. This gave Gabe a great idea. "Come on, Happy," Gabe said aloud as he tucked the frog back into his pocket. "We're going to enter a contest." Boy, what kind of contest do you think he's going to be entering? That should be very interesting. As soon as the family's truck pulled up at the fairgrounds, everyone scattered in different directions. Zach and Zeke carried Pete and Repeat to the livestock barn. Rachel and Mom headed toward the home living show. Dad looked way, way, way down at Gabe and said, "Son, you can go anywhere you want as long as you can see my legs. If you see my legs, I can see you. Just look up and holler if you need me." Then Dad began walking around shouting, "Welcome one and all to the Cotton County Fair." So he was an announcer, just like they said, announcing the fair to everyone. Gabe couldn't believe all the wonderful things going on. The food, the rides, the games. Where to begin? Then he saw the sign he'd been hoping to see. It read, "Frog jumping contest starts at noon." Gabe reached down to pat his pocket. It was flat. Where was Happy Hoppy? It wasn't in his pocket anymore. Where do you think he was? He walked over to Cotton Candy Booth and asked, "Have you seen my frog? He's green and has big buggy eyes." "No, I'm sorry, hon," said the lady as she rolled a paper cone around the machine until a foam of cloud of pink was on that stick or paper cone. Gabe licked his lips as he caught a whiff of the sugary fluff, but he had more important things to worry about. Where could Happy Hoppy have gone? He had hopped right out of his pocket and he didn't even know it. Next, Gabe wandered over to the Ferris wheel. Still no Happy Hoppy. He called up to his dad, "Hey, up there, what can I help you with, Gabe? Can you see Happy Hoppy?" Dad looked around the fairgrounds. No sign of the little green frog, because he was high up in the sky, and he could look down around the fairgrounds. Gabe checked with Zach and Zeke at the animal barn. Pete and Repeat had just won a second and third place ribbon for Plumptus, Mama, and Baby Pig, but no sign of Happy. Mom and Rachel were hugging each other when Gabe ran up to the home living booth. Rachel had won first place ribbon for her peach preserves. Mom had won a drawing for a shopping trip, but they had not seen Happy. No one had seen Happy. So goodness gracious, just look at him asking everybody where Happy Hoppy is. Gabe sat down and wondered what to do. Then he remembered what Dad had told him last night on the dock as they sat watching the stars. "Son, if you're ever lost, say a prayer and look up," he'd said, "because let me tell you something, God never loses you." So Gabe began to pray, "Dear God, please help me find my frog." As soon as he said amen, he looked up and there was Happy Hoppy sitting on the brim of his hat. Just look at that. Gabe took Happy and ran as fast as he could. It was almost noon and the contest would begin soon. Mom, Zach, Zeke, Rachel, even Pete and Repeat gathered around to cheer for Gabe and his frog. Dad made the announcement for the jump to begin. "Attention all frog-legged critters. On your mark, get set, jump." Let's see how far he jumped if I ever can turn this page. Just look at all the people over here. All the frogs made big jumps, but Happy had been practicing his hopping all day. He jumped so high he jumped over the other frogs over the winner's wall and landed splat on the top of the judge's head. "I believe we have a winner," the judge shouted as he placed matching blue ribbons around Gabe and his pet frog. Everyone laughed with joy, but Gabe laughed the loudest of all. He was so happy. He won the frog jumping contest. Here is some frog fun facts. Frogs are animals we call amphibians. What is an amphibian? Amphibians are animals that live two lives. Most live in water when they are young. Then when they grow up to live on land, they are born with gills for breathing in water, just when they get lungs when they are growing. Just like fish, they have two different little lives. So they're really amphibians. And you'll find they're just like all the frogs what you see. They're little tadpoles like this right here. Here's a tadpole, they're like that. and then they get tails, and then they become a frog or a toad, whichever it is. Thank you for listening to the story today. I hope you enjoyed this fun story about learning to trust. You have a great day, and God bless.